Hey, my friends, I'm 𝐅𝐿𝐼𝐌𝐄𝐒, and welcome back to another Step It Up stamping video where I take one bundle, I make a super simple card, and then I step it up 2 more times so that you, as a card maker, depending on where you are in your stamping journey, you will find a level of card that's perfect for you. This is the Nature's Symphony bundle by Stamp It Up. It's one of my favorite new bundles in the January through April 2026 mini catalog. I just love this bundle. I think it's so easy to work with. And I have to confess, this is a very different type of card for me. If you have seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I'm really into soft pastels, light colors. And so I thought I would switch it up today because I know there are a lot of you out there that like bold, rich color palettes, and this is definitely one. Now, this is our Busy Bee card. This is for beginner stampers, or if you just need a card in a hurry, which I often am. So even though I've been stamping for 30 years, Busy Bee cards are often my most favorite card. In this card, I used basic gray, a color I just don't use enough because isn't that a gorgeous gray? I need to use this color more. And then I paired that with Misty Moonlight and Mossy Meadow. So a very rich color combination. Now, what I did to get a little bit of variety in here is I stamped my leaves full strength in Mossy Meadow, and this is one stamp, so easy stamping. And then what I did is I inked this little, I don't know, I just call it a background stamp. I inked that in Mossy Meadow, and then I stamped it off once on my scratch paper, and that gave it a little bit different of a color. And then what I did is I took a piece of Misty Moonlight. I tore, well, first of all, I stamped the thank you in, believe it or not, Mossy Meadow, so that I only had to worry about that one ink pad. And Mossy Meadow is dark enough color that you can see that thank you, which is very, very small. And then what I did is I tore both edges off just to give it a little bit more interest. So the edges on both of these are torn. You wouldn't have to do that. You could just cut it with your paper trimmer. And I do put that in the instructions because I have full instructions for you on all 3 of these cards. Okay. Now we're going to step it up a little bit. And this is our worker bee card. And oh my gosh, I have so much on here to talk to you about. Ugh. Okay, so the first thing I did, and I'm going to try to, I actually think this might be an okay picture. Can you see the background? So what I have is I have a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of basic gray, and then I have a quarter mat, so 4 by 5.25, and I ran that through my cut and emboss machine using the joined together embossing folder. And I'm telling you, if you have, boy, it's hard to get a good picture. If you have never seen this embossing folder, it is absolutely stunning in person. Isn't that pretty? It's hard to show, but oh, in person, it's gorgeous. And I think it paired really well with this stamp set. It isn't part of this stamp set suite, but I think it went really well. So then what I did is I stamped the leaves again, just like I did here. I stamped this again in Mossy Meadow, and then I stamped it again without re-inking to give those 2 colors, just like I did here. So very simple, very easy to do. I did this background stamp in the same way, inked it with Misty Moonlight, tapped it off, stamped it on, and you can't really see. Yeah, I don't think you can see it all, but there is a little bit of gray going on back here, but I tapped that basic gray off like 4 times. I also, this time, let me pull this up and see if you could see the difference. There's here, as I mentioned, the thank you is stamped in Mossy Meadow, but here it's stamped in basic gray, and it really did stand out more. It was kind of interesting. And then I did the white, and I tore it here, and I tore the edges off here. So that torn look is giving us just a little bit more interest. So torn here, I didn't ink it here. I didn't think it needed it. And then I just put the sentiment, once again, I put the sentiment up on Stampin' Dimensionals, but I used the linen thread and just kind of wrapped it around here. Now, the interesting thing on this card, and I don't know that you're going to be able to see it, but can you see these 3 elements? They are actually from the shades of green hexagons. So they've got that nice hexagon shape, which I think went really well with this embossing folder. I don't use those enough. I need to use them more, but I want to make sure that you get a good look at this card because there's a lot going on this card for a worker bee card. But as you can see, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. Okay, now let's bring in our queen bee card. This is for more experienced card makers. Definitely a lot going on this card. I'm going to put it down here so you could see it. And again, this looks really difficult, but thanks to the dies, the Nature Symphony dies, it's super simple. It just looks like a lot, right? So you get a kind of a better look of the embossing folder here because it's not covered up with paper. I did this the same way as I did this, but you're going to notice a major significant difference, and that is the Nature Symphony dies cut out this piece. So that's how you can tell it's the dies. It almost looks like, I don't know, mini notebook paper. Really love how that turned out. Did the sentiment again. Again, I used gray ink, basic gray ink on that. But what really is the major difference on this card is this time I stamped the flowers and I stamped them in bubble bath because I really like bubble bath with with basic gray. And I'm laughing because I just realized I didn't really notice this at the time, but gosh darn it, I managed to bring in a soft pastel color, didn't I? So you can do this in any color that you want. I brought in bubble bath. Then I added in Blackberry Bliss and Mossy Meadow. And instead of stamping them this time, I die cut them with the dies that come in the Nature's Symphony. I'm sorry, I'm cracking myself up that I managed to bring in a pastel. Everything else is done the exact same way. Oh, and I did this on the worker bee card too, and I neglected to mention it. I added interest to this by stamping that sentiment a couple of different times and sort of not at an angle, but at different layers, if you will, with the basic gray. So that just added that little bit more of interest here. This is more of a collage look, if you will, which I really like. I really like the look of a collage card, but this was done very, very simply. And then again, you can see those shades of green hexagons and the linen thread. So not hard at all, my friends. As long as you have the bundle, it's super easy. And you could do this in any color combination. You really, truly could. So I do have full instructions for you on how you can make all 3 of these cards. Put them in the right order here. And we're going to do it this way, I think. So we've got our Busy Bee card, we've got our Worker Bee card, and we have our Queen Bee card. So I would love to know in the comments which one is your favorite and which one you would be most likely to make. Whew, this is a tough one for me. People always ask me to say in my video which one's my favorite. You know what? Honestly, if I'm really honest, this is my favorite, but I would be most likely to make this one. It's very simple, but it has a lot of really nice touches that I like. That said, I adore this embossing folder. I don't know, you guys, this is hard for me this week. And what's really surprising to me is I love this color combination, despite me throwing in some pastel color right here. So let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite and which one you would be most likely to make. Thanks for joining me for another Step It Up Stamping. See you next week. Bye.